So the suspect accused of setting a woman on fire aboard a Chicago train is due back in court today. He faces a federal terrorism charge. His name is Lawrence Reed. He has been arrested more than 4 times, 9 of those times for felonies, according to local outlets. But he was released in August for aggravated battery with just an ankle monitor. Paul Mauro is a Fox News contributor, former NYPD inspector, and of course an attorney. How does someone like this, that has this rap sheet, okay, I understand people don't want to be reformers. I used to be one. Yeah. But when you got, a rap sheet like a CVS receipt, it's time to keep him behind bars, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really is, especially when you consider that he had the ankle bracelet on and he was in violation of the terms of the ankle bracelet. What good is the bracelet if nobody's monitoring it, right? So obviously that's all just fluff. Look, the bottom line here is this, and I constantly make this point whenever I can. There's a small segment of society. We're not talking, excuse me, about coming down like a ton of bricks on everybody who runs afoul of the law, all right? We're talking about a specific segment of society that, were we to finally recognize they are incorrigibles, perhaps due to mental illness. I get that. They have to be, I'm sorry, they have to be isolated from the rest of society, not only for our sake, but for their own sake. And so what drives me crazy is that I just testified in the House Judiciary down in Congress on Blue City crime. And I went with all of these bipartisan hopes that I had policies laid out and statistics, stuff that we had done here in New York under Democrat administrations that not only brought down crime, brought down the incarceration rate. Nobody really wants to hear it, all right? The Democrats were holding up pictures of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein from 30 years ago. It was not a serious undertaking. And it's just the idea that we can just arrest ourselves out of all these problems is what they always go to. And that's not what cooler heads are proposing. There is a segment that needs help, and it would help us so that women are not set on fire on our subways.
Meanwhile, the mayor of Chicago is saying that it was isolated. Let's watch.
This is an isolated incident. I mean, I don't see this as some sort of trend. And again, the level of accountability that has to happen in this moment, I trust that the federal level will do its part.
Like, what is he talking about?
Isolated. First of all, we had the same thing in New York last year, right? Somebody who got set on fire. This is the kind of thing that, should shock the conscience anywhere. You know what he should do if he was being more mature and statesmanlike about this? I understand that he's against Donald Trump. He doesn't want Donald Trump to bring the feds there or the National Guard. But the feds have extended powers over our transportation systems, all right? The common carriers, as they're called, our critical infrastructure. Donald Trump has the ability to force the National Guard in many ways there, much better than he does in the cities writ large. Right. They should cut a deal. He should say, look, we have problems on our subways. And the reason I say that it is a path forward is we have it in New York. Kathy Hochul has 1,000, she's Democratic governor, she has 1,000 National Guard in the New York City subways. We've had them in the critical infrastructure here in New York City, Penn Station, Grand Central Station, later the Oculus, since 9/11.
It's an easy win.
Easy win. Everybody wins. He'd look like he came forward and they cut a deal for the sake of the safety of the cities. And otherwise, Donald Trump can do it. It'll end up in court like they all do, but he'll win. But wouldn't it be better to cut a deal? Everybody gets on board and everybody's safer.
They're not thinking, Paul, but you are. And you can watch more of Paul on the weekly Rap Sheet with Paul Mauro Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss that. All right? Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, man.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.